The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Oh, we're live. Oh, hi. All right, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right is a man who has not been fired today, Dustin Henry. Welcome back. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I hope everyone had a great Easter that observes. And, I missed not doing the show. But if anybody, Brent did a great job. Great job. I was kind of worried for my seat for a little bit there. You guys did a great job previewing the Stanley Cup playoffs there. And also, I just want to reiterate that I do not hold closed-door only meetings to justify a trade. We'll be getting into that on tonight's show. And I'm happy to be back. I'm back in the seat. I'm ready to go. We got a special guest tonight, and also very excited to reunite with you, sir. How are you tonight?
Thank you. Good. Yeah, Easter was great. We had our celebration on Saturday afternoon as opposed to Sunday because we had a lot of people going back to college on Sunday afternoon, so we had to have our celebration on Saturday, which was great because Sunday meant I went to church and the rest of my day to myself.
Yeah, I gotta admit, Easter Saturday kind of cool because then I did the same thing. I did like housework on Sunday. Got the outdoors a little ready, with the exception of my collapse table. Ryan, I have to address this so that we can watch baseball games and smoke cigars on my patio.
Yes, that'd be cool. It's gonna be an awesome summer, baby.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to things in just a moment. We're gonna we got a guest tonight, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Got a guest tonight. He's been a past guest of our fine program, but we're gonna introduce him in just a second. But we gotta do some business here. We're gonna talk about some GM who was dismissed from his team today in the National Hockey League, which is why we have him on. We've got a GM who deserves to be fired, but probably won't.
And we'll light him up.
That's right. And we're gonna talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 28. Spoiler alert. You're gonna be needing the home alert for mine. Let's just put it that way. But before that, we just want to remind you people at home to follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Search for No Credentials Required, and you can find other podcasts and written articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell, both on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live shows go up, when show announcements go up, when show clips go up. This program will be replayed on the Belly Up YouTube channel. So go to the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel as well. Give them a subscription. Hit them a subscribe button there, and watch our fine show on the replay on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. Also, from the podcast side, rate and review. 5-star rating is helpful. Leave a review if you can leave a review on your preferred platform, and also on Spotify. Leave us a comment. You can leave a comment on the most recent editions of No Credentials Required and past editions of No Credentials Required in the archives. And because we are a live show on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern and on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, we want you to leave a comment in the comments section. And again, Dustin, I didn't get a chance to play the sound on Saturday. I missed it a lot. Still had a great show, but we missed it a lot. But we got to play that magical sound because it's a certain time. My non-existent watch is telling me something.
My battery's on the fritz, but I believe the hands are stuck on chime time.
They always are. And I guess it's the time to introduce our guest to us. He is the host of a myriad of programs, including Time to BS with Staniel Smooth, the Staniel Smooth Show, and also part of the Three Rails Metro Hockey podcast, which we haven't had in a while, but hopefully we'll bring it back soon, but especially with the NHL playoffs going on. But he is from Strong Island, Long Island, Mr. Staniel Smooth. Wow, sound very enthusiastic.
That's one of his patented intros from our show together, Seahawks Sessions.
Yes, that's Seahawks Sessions.
It's been a rough week, lads. It's been a rough week, but happy to be here, happy to cause chaos, and as promised, I will behave.
As you said in the comments before we even went live on air, chaos.
Yeah.
I promise I'll behave, folks. LOL.
I was gonna say he is somebody that usually engages in chime time.
He does.
Very regularly when he watches the show. Very, very engaged always.
I try my best. I try my best, lads.
We also got some more comments in the comments section. Dee's Ray Sunshine, one of the newest cred heads. She was in the comments on Saturday. She says, I'm ready for sports ball. Sapna and her pink hand saying, sports ball! She's
Oh,
back in the
man.
comments
Welcome back,
section.
Sapna.
She also says, Dee's Ray Sunshine says hello to Ryan's beard. Staniel did comment. He says, Ryan's beard looks good. So does Dustin's hair. Everybody wins.
Everyone wins.
And I also got to add Staniel's tattoos.
Yeah, there you go.
He's
The
got the
tattoos
best
in
in the business, yeah.
And beard, and I got a haircut, so I'm a little bit of something in there, just a little haircut, a little skin fade in there somewhere.
There we go.
Beard is trimmed up nice. So
Ryan,
that
this
does
is like
help.
This is like Three Bears. This is Three Bears. Staniel Smooth is Goldilocks.
In what context, Dustin?
You have the beard. I have the hair. He's got both. He's just right.
In what context of the Three Bears? Keep in mind, it's 2025. Yes. Ryan, play the sound.
Please hold.
Yeah.
There we go.
Dee's Ray of Sunshine saying we would rather much if he didn't behave. Ryan's fans are spicy, and she also says the tattoos are looking nice as well.
I'd try my best.
Nice. Here we go. I like the energy of the show so far.
Off to a great start.
Off to a fantastic start. So unlike a certain general manager on Long Island, Lou Lamoriello.
We're starting with me now, are we?
Yeah, you're the guest.
Yes, we are.
Boy.
Yes, we are. Dismissed by the New York Islanders. Obviously, Staniel Smooth is a New York Islanders fan. If you couldn't tell from the hat and his bicep, he is a New York Islanders fan.
Unfortunately,
Lou Lamoriello, formerly of my New Jersey Devils, those whatever you want to call them in Toronto, the Maple Leafs, and formerly of the New York Islanders. So let's talk about this dismissal and where the Islanders go from here. That's why we brought Staniel Smooth in tonight, because he wants to talk about it, and we'll give him the floor. So why don't you go ahead there, Mr. Smooth? Why don't you talk about this a little bit more?
So you're the one that broke the news to me, Ryan.
I did.
I found this out from you. I was like,
for me.
Yay for you. So give yourself a gold star while you're at it. Put on the back of the refrigerator.
I separate my shoulder, pat myself in the back.
Put the gold star right in the refrigerator. Right next to the Beatles artwork.
Oh, there we go.
Hey man, I love me some Beatles. You shut your mouth.
I do. I like the Beatles too. I'm not hating on the Beatles at all. But at the same point, here's the thing. This had to happen for a multiple of reasons. Because for those who are, listeners of the Time to BS program for a number of years now, will know my distaste with former Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll. And how I've said for 7 years, the Seahawks would not do anything until change is made. I was at that point near the end of this season for the Islanders, and there is a weird breakdown of like who gets the biggest slice of blame pie here. Is it the players? Is it the coaches? Is it the general manager? Now, onto the coach's route, Special teams, for those who do not know, the Islanders were dead last in both power play and penalty kill. Dead last. Which, by the way, for the NHL history, top 10 worst in NHL history on both statistical categories. That's not good.
No.
And it's not good at all. And you're not winning a lot of hockey games with the worst special teams in the NHL by a country mile. And the power play did get a little bit better, and so did the penalty kill, but it's still, they finished last in the league by far. There are some bright sides here. The players, I mean, Ilya Sorokin, the goaltending is solid.
Yeah, goaltending is good.
Goaltending's fine. Bo Horvat, Matt Barzal, a few other players are locked up long-term here for the next 6 to 7 or 8 years. But a lot of the players that were here for the last 7 years of the tenure of Lou Lamoriello have not lived up to their contracts. One of them got traded, Brock Nelson. He's having a pretty good time with the Avalanche right now. Anders Lee, what happened? Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech, they once thought of as a top-tier defensive duo in the entire league, fell off the face of the map. Noah Dobson fell off a cliff, just like Max Kellerman's career at ESPN.
Ew.
Is Matt Barzal also can't stay healthy to save his life. And Kyle Palmieri, what happened to him? I mean, he's also in his 30s. Sometimes the Italian blood does not last forever. But
Lou wouldn't let him grow his beard. That's why.
yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. You need to let the beards flow free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. I mean, let's look. If the Yankees can let the beards fly, so can Lou. Come on, Lou.
Yeah.
Come on, Lou. Come on, Uncle Lou.
And I just have a quick question. Is Palmieri related to Rafael Palmieri, who got his 300th hit? I'm sorry.
I got that joke.
I have to
my
call that
God.
guy out at every opportunity from the steroid hearings. I
You know
have
what?
to do it.
You know what? That was good. I'll give you that one. That was good. That was good. That was good. But it's when the news was broken, my first thought was, wow, they actually did it. Because for those who don't know the history of the Islanders, yeah, they have very few GMs since Bill Torrey retired in the early 90s. Most notably, Mike Milbury and Garth Snow, two of arguably the top 5 worst GMs in the history of the league.
Yeah, I was going to say Garth Snow's tenure there, not
How
well
the hell?
regarded.
How in the world he lasted for 13 years? Beats me. Did he have pictures along with Shannon Sharp and Diddy? Who knows?
No.
We'll never know. It's like Tootsie Rolls. It's like Tootsie Roll Pops. The world may never know.
Yeah.
The world may never know. But I expect more change to be coming. And from what we know, whoever gets hired as the next GM is going to ultimately have the say if Patrick Waugh stays and who doesn't go. Yes.
I've got 2 questions. Number 1, do you expect the next GM of the New York Islanders Hockey Club to maybe possibly do a rebuild? B, will the GM be a retread? Just like coaches in the NHL always seem to get second, third, fourth, 10th chance in some aspects.
In some way, shape, or form.
Will it be a retread like a Ken Holland,
Yes and no. I'm very torn on it because at the same point you have top tier talent on the wings, the center position, kind of sort of defenseman, depending on who you ask, but ultimately goaltending. Ilya Sorokin guarantees you 40 or 50 wins, depending on who you ask. He's that good of a goaltender. He's one of, if not a top 5 goaltender on the planet. He's that good of a goaltender.
He's very good, yes.
So I think by default you can count out rebuild because of the likes of Sorokin, Barzal, and Horvat still being on your roster at the time, long term. In terms of the retread GM, I doubt it. And here's my target. that I think you should go after. Who is the current assistant GM for the Vegas Golden Knights?
Let's do some real-time
Let's do some research, shall we? So, Golden Knights,
I mean,
assistant GM.
you can't argue with the Golden Knights. They've made the playoffs.
There's two. There are two.
Oh, okay.
There's one for player personnel and one just straight up general manager. So assistant general manager for the player personnel is Vaughn Carpin. The assistant general manager is Andrew Lugerner.
I would focus on Vaughn Carpin from the Golden Knights side and on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The assistant GM for the Tampa Bay Lightning is, give me 2 seconds, Matthew Darsh.
Matthew Darsh. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Okay, good job. So I think Matthew Darsh would be the top target because of how well the Lightning have been consistently playing.
Yeah, and their farm system is
their farm system is top tier. Their farm system is top tier down there on West Florida. So
it's all up. It's up here in Syracuse actually, but
I'm saying Tampa is in West Florida.
I know where you're.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's who I would target in terms of the new GM. And if Darsh does come here on Long Island, I expect a new coach to be waiting in the wing because I like Patrick Waugh. I think he's a good head coach, but he's not. It's sort of in the department of he's got to change with the times. A perfect example of changing with the times is the Washington Capitals. Spencer Carberry was a relatively unknown head coach for the Capitals when he was brought in a year ago. Now, Washington's the best team in the Eastern Conference. How quickly things can turn around real quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of... Well, I mean, it's funny that you bring up the Washington Capitals because I think that the Islanders never should have let go of Barry Trotz.
You're telling me this now?
Yeah, they never should have let go of Barry Trotz. I was shocked why they did. I don't know why. And also, as a Devils fan, Ryan, I want to bring you in for a second. You've known Lou. You know his work.
Yep.
And he had it when he was with the Devils, for the most part. I think you could argue that.
Yeah.
Now, both of you, Staniel, an Islander fan, Ryan, a Devils fan, the consensus, obviously, I mean, some of the moves hadn't been great. How long ago do you think he lost his fastball, so to speak?
Toronto.
Oh, that's right. I forgot when he was with
probably
the
Toronto. Probably when he made those moves with the Maple Leafs. But then again, he got it back when he brought in Trotz and we brought in those guys, and he was aggressive with the trades here on the island with Horvat, Palmieri, Pajot, Travis Zajac. A lot of those guys. Andy Green, here's another one. And getting Sorokin over here from Russia when he was under contract as, technically under contract with the Islanders, but he was, he wasn't here. Getting him over here from the KHL was massive. That does not happen under Garth Snow. And I will give ownership a lot of credit here. A lot of credit because, Charles Wong would never have done this. Charles Wong would never have done this, the previous ownership of the Islanders. Ledecky, Ryan, we talked about it on our Three Rails. We have no idea what the owners are like behind closed doors. Specifically, Malkin, who has the money. Mm-hmm. Who has the money? Like, is Scott Malkin, who let's face it, he's running the show, but Ledecky is the salesman of the ownership group, and then John Collins, who is third in command of the ownership group, he's going to run the search for the new GM, and Darsh would be my top target because of how well Tampa is playing, consistently for since Julian Breezeball took over from Steve Yzerman. So that's what I would go for. But again, the only reason I don't say full-blown rebuild is because of the contracts that they have with Sorokin, Barzal, and Horvat. It's the only reason they go rebuild.
There's one other name you could look for GM. There's assistant GMs in Washington, Don Fishman, who's also the senior vice president and assistant general manager, and Ross Mahoney.
Ooh,
Because
I would like Fishman. Fishman's good.
Look at the Capitals and what they've done. Their farm system is incredible too.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how well they turn it around from, oh, maybe this is the year that they finally tear it down, to where the heck did they come from? It's like,
yeah. This was literally the Ovi went through the rejuvenation machine, literally and figuratively speaking.
Yeah,
even
literally.
Even with 4 to 6 weeks out with a broken freaking leg,
Yeah,
he still broke the record.
Yeah,
still broke Gretzky's record, and he's still playing like he's 28, 29 years old.
Now in the coaching department, like I think they move on from Patrick Roy. But if they were to move on from Patrick Roy, who would you go after if you were, the new GM of the Islanders? Because
I would try to work out a trade with Montreal for Martin Saint-Louis.
Oh man,
doubt that happens.
Coaching there.
I doubt.
No,
it
won't happen. It won't happen because Martin Saint-Louis is primarily francophone speaking. So he's good with the French. He's good with the Quebecois media.
Yeah.
Quebecois. I wouldn't look for Dan Bylsma.
I was just gonna say. Bylsma.
No.
Bylsma got a raw deal in Seattle.
Agreed. I'm with you.
He was decent. He had some decent success with the Pens, but.
You ask any rational Pens fan, they'll tell you that he deserved to be fired.
He was better than Coach Eddie Olczyk.
So
you know who I would look? But a serious answer here. I would look at Todd Nelson from the Hershey Bears.
In terms of a young up, we're seeing that a lot more with the NHL. We're seeing a lot more young, unknown coaches coming in from the minor leagues.
I would also, I would also look at for GM, Brian Helmer, who is the vice president of operations of said Hershey Bears.
I wouldn't hate it.
And Nelson filled in as an interim head coach with the Calgary Flames back in the Edmonton Oilers back in the day.
Dustin, who was the previous Oilers head coach?
Before Knobloch,
it was Raycroft, right?
Yep,
I believe so. Yes,
Woodcroft.
Woodcroft. Yeah,
Ray Woodcroft. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, if they were to go retread head coach, Woodcroft would be probably up there. But
I wouldn't count him as a retread though, because he's only really coached one team.
But if Pittsburgh lets go of Sully, that's who I target.
Go for him. I would go for him.
If Pittsburgh lets go of Mike Sullivan, which is very likely to happen, I would target Mike Sullivan because that man can coach.
He can coach.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised they haven't moved on. You know who I would not go after is
John Tortorella.
Oh my Jesus!
No,
Torts
not
on
Torts.
Long Island would be a godsend. I'm just kidding. No, it wouldn't.
Nope.
Be a media nightmare.
Nor would Peter Laviolette.
Oh
No.
yeah.
Oh Jesus! Former Islander head coach Peter Laviolette, by the way.
Speaking of retreads, my goodness.
Yeah. Shout out to the Rangers.
We've got let's not shout them out.
That was like when the Oilers brought Pat Quinn out of retirement.
No, when they brought back who the heck was it? Who's fourth all time in wins? I can't remember who it was. He coached the Blues for the longest time.
Ken Hitchcock.
Hitchcock,
Ken
thank you.
Hitchcock, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird when they brought back Hitchcock out of retirement.
Yeah, the Pat
weird.
Quinn and the Ken Hitchcock, both of them.
Jeez.
That did happen. If they were going to do that, they should have just I loved Craig McTavish. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought Craig McTavish was a good coach, man.
Someone on Twitter brought this up and say, "Hey, they should bring in Joe Quenneville as the new Islander head coach." I'm like, why?
Oh man,
why? What is wrong with you people?
The Q stash.
Just don't hire. Just don't. You know what? No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
No.
Not going to. I'll save it for off air.
To throw back. To shout out Hall of Famer Road Dog Jesse James. This is a family show.
This is a family show. Yes,
This is a family show.
It is a family.
The not family show is Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast. That is the
You're
not-
welcome.
Thanks to Staniel Smooth's filthy freaking mouth. All right.
Hey, I take pride in that, sir.
That's why I put the parental advisory label on every podcast now.
Speaking of family show, Kevin's here.
Yes, Kevin Wilson from Belly Up Sports. Fantasy
Hey,
Sports,
Kevin.
frequent commenter in our chat, frequent guest on our show, and also on Seahawks sessions saying
Friend of the show on both sides of the party here.
D's Ray of Sunshine. She said, I'm going to get to some of these comments before we move on.
Oh my God.
She says, I'm sorry, Staniel. Ryan always breaks the news. He's the Nostradamus of sports ball.
Fun fact, I do call him Rystradamus. It's one of the nicknames.
This is true. He does call him that.
Is the thunder effect here? No, it's not. I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, plus we all have to remain silent because it's such a long fade out on that thing.
Because StreamYard is just so...
You know you can
Anyway.
cancel the clip, right?
I could. Sapton is asking, how is
Jesus.
Sports Ball for Dummies streaming segment coming along? I totally
Hey.
forgot about it. I forgot about it, honestly.
Hey,
We'll get to it.
Sapna, I am a dummy.
maybe
and I'm
this-
in
I am
Summer.
certified, however. I'm
Maybe-
certified. I have the tattoo to prove it. I'm
on.
a frequent rider of the short bus.
Show it. Show it again.
It's a autism awareness tattoo.
Oh, nice. All right.
I am a member of the TISM gang. This is true. I was diagnosed at 2 years.
Yay.
I was diagnosed at 2 years old, so I do have the certified short bus card.
There you go. He's Ray Sunshine saying, free the beards. Yes, absolutely. Julie from Michigan saying, hey all, hey gentlemen. She's also said, everybody's saying hi to each other in the chat.
Yep.
These Ray Sunshine saying the poor devils. I am hoping to see them in the playoffs just for Ryan. Hey,
They
they're
are.
up 1-0. They're up 1-0 right now against those jerks, the Hurricanes.
I second the
1-0.
Hurricane
Just for
dislike,
Brad.
Ryan.
Just for Brad, is the best player in the NHL. Shout out to the Brat Pack.
The Brat Pack, yes.
Julie saying I'll adopt the Devils as my suited team because the Red Wings are out. Yes, they certainly
Yeah,
are.
Detroit needs a rebuild like so bad.
D's Ray Sunshine saying I have one of the Florida teams, but Vegas is a force. Indeed, they are.
Screw you, Vegas.
And Julie saying I'm multitasking tonight though because the Tigers game is on now. Yeah, I'm kind of like I'm paying attention, but also not paying attention because Devils are playing and the Yankees are playing at the same
Yeah.
time.
You
They
know, I've
both
been
started
getting
at
into the
6
Mariners.
They both had a 6:00 start.
I've been getting into the Mariners lately.
Oh, you've been jumping on the M's bandwagon, huh?
Well, also because New York sports media is a toxic cesspool of stupid. So I'm just.
Yes.
I can also watch the Mariners games instead of, having to wait till I get home to watch the stinking highlights because they're at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right. Speaking of another general manager, but this one should be fired.
This
Nico
is going to be
Harrison.
fun.
Dustin's going to go off.
I can't wait.
It's
I'm
not
so
OFF.
excited for this.
It's not OFF. It's OWFF. Off.
Oh my
Because
god.
Dustin is our resident Dallas Mavericks fan. Dallas Mavericks were summarily dismissed from the NBA playoffs this past week.
Yeah.
And he had some things to say in
About a certain elephant in the room.
Listen, just because Luka Doncic has some weight problems doesn't mean he's an elephant. But
I'm not that elephant.
neither am I. Hey man, us chunky hunks gotta stick together, man.
Hey,
But Nico Harrison, who made that trade back in January, that
Oh,
Dustin went off
boy.
for half an hour. An hour.
I'm sorry.
Go back in the archive.
I'm sorry.
No,
That's a
don't
YouTube-worthy
apologize.
clip.
All-time clip right there. But Dustin had a lot of things to say about Luka Doncic being traded by said GM, and there were some things that he had to say this week about Luka Doncic, and he was basically quoted as saying, and I'll bring up the meme that I sent to Dustin.
Oh no.
Where is it?
Oh
Where is it?
no.
Oh, he said, quote,
Mhm.
I did know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level. Close quote.
So, before Dustin goes, I have a genuine question. Is there any more tone deaf GM and or coach
Nope.
in sports history
Nope.
Current
than Nico Harrison?
in history? I would have to say John Idzik from the New York Jets.
Ooh,
That's a good pick. I forgot about
Vlade
that.
Divac from the Sacramento Kings a few years ago when he traded what the heck was it? DeMarcus Cousins. He said, "Yeah, I had a better deal 2 days ago."
Vlade,
in
though.
recent
Yeah,
history.
yeah,
But in
yeah.
recent history, I mean, we're going by like current. Yeah, Nico Harrison is definitely tone deaf.
Yeah.
Oof.
Dustin, the floor is yours.
Go for it. Have fun.
All right. Well, as you may have seen from my optional headline on StreamYard, if you're watching live or on the replay later, I've got get in the hot seat, Nico, because he deserves to be there. This is a horrible run, and this is a little homage to Ryan's segment on friend of the show, Snowman's show. He used to call people out in the hot seat. I am doing it again for Nico Harrison. I've already extolled how bad I think the trade is on a previous episode of the show. I've waxed poetic about it, and those were real thoughts because I was just shocked that they would blow up a team that went to the finals to this degree. And so I will go in on it just a little bit to recap. My main issue with the trade was the way that they did it. They did it like a backroom deal. He went directly to the Lakers. Jason Kidd did not know about the deal. Supposedly, the new Mavs ownership group signed off on the deal, but the Lakers ownership did not know about this deal. LeBron did not know about this deal. This was a deal between Harrison and Pelinka directly. He did not shop Luka Doncic at all. He went straight to the Lakers and inquired about Anthony Davis, which, no disrespect to Anthony Davis, I feel like he has kind of become the fall guy for all of this. But what did I say, Ryan, when the trade went through? I said Anthony Davis is older. I'm not denying he's a great player, but they were supposedly worried about Luka's injury history, short-lived. But Luka is much younger, and Anthony Davis is older, and what did I say? I said he's often injured, and somebody tried to call me out in the comments.
And somebody called you out in the comments, and they're short.
And what happened? His second game as a Maverick.
First game as a Maverick. His first game as a Maverick.
He got hurt. He got hurt. And what did that do? It put the scoring load on an older Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie went down. So their defensive powerhouse that they wanted to put together had just collapsed. And Luka, it has come out. It started with the tone deaf celebration for Luka in his first game back in Dallas. Okay, his first game back in Dallas. They put together this video package, and they're like, "Thank you, Luka. Welcome home." When you're the ones that sent him out of there, and then you have Nico Harrison decide to have a closed door only media session to address this trade. No cameras were allowed. No recording devices were allowed. This reeks of cowardice, because if you really wanted to say, if he had come out and said, "Look, I really believe in this trade. I thought it was in the best interest of our team. I had concerns about Luka. I shopped him around. We didn't get I went to the other teams in the NBA. I inquired about what was available. I got the best deal for us. I believe Anthony Davis puts us in a better position to win because I want to focus on the defense of this team." If he had said all of that in front of the media, I would have had less of a problem with it. But the fact that you do it and you try to double down in a back room media only session where no cameras are allowed, no recording devices, you're not addressing people after the backlash of this trade. Normally, I am for team business is team business. It shouldn't be all over the place. But this is the type of thing you have to get out in front of when the fans are incensed by this trade months later, and it should be. Now, people asked me after I said, they said, you're hating on Anthony Davis. I said, I'm not hating on Anthony Davis, but you're telling me that you couldn't have at least inquired with the Timberwolves to see if Anthony Edwards was available. Somebody who's younger and defensively he's good, offensively he's still great. I mean, the Timberwolves probably would have told you no, but you could have tried. You could have tried to put together a package with draft picks. But my bigger problem is you don't go to Luka. You don't tell him that you're going to shop him. You go directly to the Lakers. Lakers ownership doesn't even know about it. You go directly to Pelinka. You put the trade in place. Jason Kidd, you could see in the press conference, he had no idea. He straight up said he didn't know about it. So you don't communicate with your coach when you're about to blow up the roster. Oof. And then the closed doors session after the tone deaf welcome home to Luka, where he sat there and cried on the bench. It was obvious he never wanted to leave. He's come out and said he didn't want to leave. He stayed in Dallas after that game, after hanging 45 on the Mavericks. He stayed in Dallas and worked at an area store as a cashier. He loved Dallas. Asked earlier this week, he said, I would have stayed, no question. He said he threw his phone and broke it when he found out about the trade. Nico Harrison apparently addressed Luka about concerns about his workout regimen, and they apparently had a problem when he didn't join the team. They asked him to return to the team for 5 games before he came back from his injury, and his team argued like, hey, he should probably have full access to the Mavs training facility and continue to rehab rather than go to these games. Now, I don't have a problem with Nico Harrison addressing Luka and saying, hey, I think you should join us, come with us on this 5-game trip before you return. And but then the next time Luka hears from him is to say that he's been traded. This is crazy. And if you really believed in the confidence of this trade and you really stood by what you believed, you haven't acted like it. You've acted like somebody that kind of made a decision and now wishes that he hasn't. And supposedly in that closed media session, Tim McMahon, who covers the Mavs for ESPN, he was in there, and he said that Nico Harrison just kept justifying the trade by saying defense wins championships over and over like some broken record, but it didn't work. This is completely blown up. This is a disaster.
Guess what doesn't work in the NBA anymore? Defense.
The Knicks would like a word, please.
Yeah, but this is just such a cowardly maneuver. And then to come out and say that he has no ill will and he's never spoken ill of Luka. The more Nico Harrison opens his mouth, the worse he makes it. And like I said, if he had come out and said, look, I really believe in this trade. Like, this is the way I wanted to do it. This is how I envisioned it. I talked to Luka. I explained why, but he didn't do any of that. As far as we know, he didn't do any of that. And everyone, including players on the Lakers, ownership on the Lakers, and the Dallas Mavericks head coach were blindsided by this trade. Not to mention what Mark Cuban has come out and said. He said he would not make the trade. And the other thing, and I realize some people might view this as a small thing, Dirk Nowitzki is as loyal to the Dallas Mavericks as anyone.
I was going to get to that.
Not anymore.
You have distanced your biggest star and ambassador for the team in history. I don't think anybody's arguing he is intrinsically linked with the Mavericks. He brought Dallas a championship. Dirk he was Mavs for life as anybody gets, and you have torched that relationship with Dirk Nowitzki because of the way that you've acted in the gutless way that you approach this trade, and you just keep saying defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. You have no reason to justify the trade. And then the piece de resistance, and I will stop after this, gentleman, is to come out and say that you didn't realize that the fans would be mad about this. You knew that Luka was important to the franchise, but you didn't realize to what degree. What was it that tipped you in, Nico? Was it the fire Nico chants that echoed throughout the arena in his return to Dallas? Was it when Luka was sitting there crying on the bench? Or was it when Luka stayed in Dallas? Stayed in Dallas after hanging 45 on your defensive juggernaut that you tried to assemble. He said that he hopes to be the Mavs GM for the next 4 years. That's his championship window. He won't be there. He won't be there.
He won't be there for the next 4 minutes.
Dustin.
If it were up to Mark Cuban, if he pulled that tree when if Mark Cuban was still the majority owner, Mark Cuban would have fired him that night.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Mark
100%.
Cuban would have released all of hell.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
Dragged him down to it.
Do you know what this reminds me of, Ryan? Do you remember the Giancarlo Stanton trade for the Marlins?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember do you remember what the Marlins got back for the reigning MVP in Giancarlo Stanton?
No,
This might be worse than the Stanton trade.
I don't remember.
And you guys know how I feel about small market teams and how they get hosed consistently. Dallas ain't no small market.
No.
Dallas is not a small market.
No,
Yes,
it's not.
but here I've got it right here. Giancarlo Stanton was traded from the Miami Marlins to the New York Yankees on December 11th, 2017. The Marlins received
Oh, here we go.
Starlin Castro
No longer in the league.
and prospects Jorge Guzman and Jorge Devers in return.
That's all you got
man.
back for the reigning National League MVP.
And Starlin
And financial compensation of $30 million.
Anyone want to put the tinfoil cap on?
The Marlins paid that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyone will put the tinfoil cap on? Who wants to put the tinfoil cap on?
You can put the tinfoil
There it
cap
is,
on.
Ryan. There it is. The NBA has thrilled since Luka got traded to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Thrilled. It's great for the league. It's just bad for the league in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of like you're screwing, the smaller markets, compare Dallas to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Dallas is a small market compared to Los Angeles in terms of basketball.
Well, and Luka was a way to bring free agents to Dallas.
Yes.
People wanted to play with him. And the thing
You
is,
just went to the finals the previous year.
yes.
You do not do this unless there's a conspiracy theory brewing around.
Well,
You do not do this.
Here's
Under
the,
any way.
If there's one league that's filled with conspiracy theories, it's the
it's
NBA.
the NBA. Yes.
It's the Lakers.
All
Yeah.
the way back to
It's the Lakers.
all the way back to David Stern with the 1985
Yep.
NBA draft.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
The
No, we
frozen
all
envelope.
we all
Do you
know
wanna-
that story, but
Yes.
I will say, and I thought, because I talked to Kevin behind the scenes, in the green room before a Seahawks sessions, I talked to Kevin about this. Kevin lives. He lives.
Yeah, he lives in Dallas.
He lives in Dallas. And so I told him what my brother-in-law was telling me. And Kevin said, there's fire to that smoke. He goes,
There's
that's not,
something involved
he
here.
goes, that's not tinfoil hat. Apparently, the new ownership group in Dallas wanted to put a casino next to the arena in Dallas. And Dallas emphatically said, they said no. So now the tinfoil hat says that the new ownership group wants to move the Mavs to Vegas and put a casino there. And when you see the logistics of this Luka Doncic trade, you're like, that's not too crazy. Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
At what point does I don't want to even say this. Like, at what point does Silver get involved and be like, "Hey, what's going on here?" But he won't, because the second he sees Vegas, he thinks money eyes.
Money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Money.
Yeah.
Money. Which, speaking of, bring back the Supersonics. Anyway.
Yes, I will agree with that.
Still think it's funny that the NHL beat the NBA to the punch.
That's
I know.
funny.
I know. You know what?
funny.
I did. If I did not already have a hockey team, I would have thrown my allegiances to the Kraken just for that.
Anything I feel.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I can't by default because I have the tattoo. But regardless,
yeah.
Well, I'll read this one tweet that I actually put in our Discord yesterday from an account called at Hack1PR, who basically summarized Tim McMahon's article, and this is what he listed: this is of Nico Harrison, fired the director of health while he was attending to his dying mother. Hired new medical staff that didn't meet NBA certifications. New staff members were having physical fights. Caused Dirk to distance himself from the Mavs. Traded Luka. Is this the worst GM ever?
I mean,
not ever of recent history.
Phil Jackson's is up there. Phil Jackson's up there.
You know, his tenure wasn't great. He's a great coach, but GM, no,
not so much.
No.
Not so much.
Got some more comments in the comment section. D's Ray of Sunshine saying they don't make a hearing aid strong enough for Nico.
That's a great comment. That's a great comment.
We have the best audience, man.
That is a great comment.
Julie saying,
you know what? You would love Time to BS, Ray Sunshine. You would love that. You would fit right in our department of nonsense.
Julie saying, I love sports ball anger. It's the best type of anger. Kevin Wilson coming in from the top rope saying, given his recent comments, the fact that Harrison still has a job is the biggest mystery.
Yeah, how? Literally how?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Dustin, your uncle saying, just tune in to hear Dustin spitting fire. Awesome.
Jesus.
Just like the 5 best rappers in history. Dylon.
Dylon recently ran into some...
Until he choked the legend.
Yeah. He ran into some trouble recently. He ran into some trouble, Dylon. Dylon's not having a great time recently.
The music snobbing me just like heartbroken.
You understand the reference?
Yes, I do understand the reference.
Okay, I got it.
God.
D saying it's everything else around this in regards to Nico Harrison that screams cowardice.
Yeah.
If it were to any other team other than the Lakers, would you have a problem with this?
I would still have a problem, but not as big of a problem.
But because it's the Lakers and because they're the golden child of the NBA.
It's partially that, but it's more that Luka Doncic, whether you want to argue it or not, most I think would consider that he is definitely top 10 in the NBA, if not in the top 5. And
yes,
so when
not even close.
When you're shopping when you're looking at trading a player like that, teams would fall all over themselves just to have a shot. So you
don't do this on a regular. You don't.
No. Nope. This is like Brian Cashman trading Aaron Judge and saying, I didn't know how big he was to the fan base.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the casino thing.
If Brian Cashman traded Aaron Judge, people would be at Yankee Stadium at the corner of East 153rd.
Within seconds.
Within minutes. Seconds.
No, within seconds.
Within seconds. And I would be leading. I'd be having a torch.
I would tune into the radio for that response.
Toss him in the Hudson.
Oh, the radio content would be glorious.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness.
People would be calling in.
Your uncle Dustin, your Uncle Al saying the NBA needs to have a franchise in Seattle and call it the Seattle Basketball Club.
Jesus.
D saying that the NBA was great when he had the Supersonics. Absolutely agree.
Yes.
And Al saying next thing you're going to tell me it's the Giants will let Saquon get away.
Oh, Uncle Al.
I will lose sleep if we get Saquon go to the Eagles.
Don't worry,
Your
worry,
Uncle Al just comes in from the top rope.
Oh, he does.
Nowhere.
Every single time. We appreciate
he just comes out of nowhere like 2006 Rey Mysterio
and Randy Orton RKO. Which, by the way, I just saw this card Topps is going to be offering
for Backlash.
No, it was for WrestleMania. And
oh my God.
I have to show you. I
How
just
much?
have to show you because I want
it the Phil Hen? Is it that moment?
It's Joe Hendry and Randy Orton. Say his name and he appears out of nowhere.
He's getting
Look at this. Look at this card. It is glorious.
It looks like Randy Orton's flying.
It does.
It really does.
He's
got great extension on that RKO. He's got great extension.
Which, by the way, I gotta say, this was a great moment for Joe Hendry.
That was
Yes,
the biggest
for
pop of
all
WrestleMania,
4 minutes.
probably.
Agreed.
All 4 minutes of it. And you know what the thing was too? Like when you saw him get pinned after the RKO, you saw him smiling.
Yeah.
It was not
Yeah.
grimacing. He was smiling from ear to ear. I'm like, what a this guy!
You know
This
what?
dude wrestled in front of 20 people at a hall in UK like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And now he's in. I was at Miss WrestleMania.
Yeah, he's the biggest star in the TNA
Yes.
by
Yeah.
far.
Absolutely.
But like, oh my god! I know we got to go to break because I know we've been approaching
We do.
50 minutes and stuff like that. But like, did you see Karrion Kross go scorched
yes.
earth?
Yes. I can't.
Scorched earth.
I can't play the clip because we'll get demonetized. But
Yeah, me too. I
Um,
can't play it either.
yeah. But man,
I'm with him. I'm with him 100% because I happen to know a few independent professional wrestlers. I happen to know a few of them. And one of them texted me, says, I'm 100% with Karrion Kross on this one. The fact that Logan Paul, who has only been wrestling for 2 years, 3 years tops,
ugh.
Karrion Kross has been from Lucha Underground, TNA, various independent promotions for 15 years.
Yep.
15 years. In his hometown in Las Vegas, by the way. Wasn't even on the card.
Nope.
Wasn't even on the card.
Nope.
But you're going to put Logan Paul on the card because why?
Because
Like,
clips.
in all defense to Joe Hendry, you're telling me you can't put Sami Zayn on that card? You're telling me the one of the tag team championships, you're telling me you can't put a 6-man tag between Motor City Machine Guns, who, by the way, 25-year veterans, by the way, between Ring of Honor and TNA, with the Street Profits and DIY, you're telling me you can't put that on the card? That match would cook. But let's put Logan Paul in the card against a 30-year veteran in AJ Styles.
I have a lot of thoughts about WrestleMania as well, but that'll be maybe I'll make that a bonus show this week.
That's what I'm doing.
Make that a
That's what I'm
bonus
doing
show.
with Jack. I'm doing that with Jack.
Make that a bonus show because I watched both nights and
I did too.
I've got thoughts.
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't
so
I didn't get a chance to watch. I thought some of it was going to be on Netflix, but I didn't see.
Well,
Can I
let me
offer
put it
you
this
some
way.
advice?
Let me put it this way. First night, undercard was pretty good. The undercard was main event was really good. Second night, undercard was great. Main event,
yeah.
especially the ending was tragic.
Can I will tell you this. Do not compare it to last year's Mania.
No.
Do not.
Nope.
Lower your
Lower.
expectations. Lower your expectations.
Last year's
tenfold.
WrestleMania. Last year's WrestleMania here. This year's WrestleMania down here.
You're probably looking at like, this is like WrestleMania 20-ish in terms of the, this is pretty good.
Dee's on board. She says, "Yay for a bonus show! Give me more of the beard." Yes.
Nice.
Ray of
Your
Sunshine. Do you have a thing for beards? Do I know about? Because
your wish is my command.
I'm getting married and my fiance loves my beard. You know,
I
She
can't
loves
grow a
it.
beard.
If she loves it, you keep it.
I showed up to our first date bald.
You showed me that picture. I think
I told you this story. Yes, I did.
Did you? Do you remember how I commented on you?
I did not.
I
What
called
did you
a
comment?
I called you
A dollar
Oh,
store,
no.
Mr. Clean.
He can't even get it
a
out.
dollar store DJ Khaled.
Oh my god!
Oh man! Oh man!
Wow. You know what?
I accidentally buried you. That's
You
what-
You know what? That was I would laugh at that. Oh my god.
Anyway, that takes us to our network mandated commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about our favorite athletes to ever wear the number 28. So stand by and stay tuned. for
Help.
more notes. As Daniel gets a drink, we're gonna take a break. We're back in just a moment.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
That's right, folks. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Delicious craft jerky. It's got all sorts of flavors. They got all sorts of styles. They've got not just the jerky. They've got the air dried biltong. They got turkey jerky. They got the beef sticks, which is 100% beef. Unlike some of those things, unlike some of those other convenience store beef sticks that you have to like snap into.
It's not tofu.
It's not tofu, but it is. Their primary ingredient is pulverized chicken.
I was gonna make a really funny joke, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
But this is a family show.
It's a family show.
It's a family show. And not only do they have the craft jerky, the beef sticks, they've also got handcrafted dog treats, which Dustin will attest to are his dog nephew Pickles loves the Wild Ranger.
He does. He does. He knows the closet where I keep them at the house, and when I'm watching him, he runs towards that closet if he even sees me walking towards it. And what I'd like to say, and thank you to those who were concerned that I actually eat the dog treats. No, they weren't for me. I'm going to get into the jerky. I'm going to get into the jerky that I've tried just for in just a second. But Pickles, he loves the beef jerky, the Ranger dog treats. They've got duck flavor, they got chicken flavor, they got flaxseed in them. It's healthy for your pup.
Good stuff.
And they got it to me very quickly because I was a bad uncle and I forgot to get him his gift. And I ordered it 2 days before Christmas Eve, and it got to me just in time for the Christmas Eve celebration. So shout out to the shipping on Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, and I have been enjoying the meat sticks. The street taco is my favorite. The pork meat stick. That one's great. I tried the lemon pepper turkey, enjoyed it. It's a perfect snack, and it stopped me from reaching for chips late night because I got a late night snacking problem. And beef jerky, it's the perfect cure.
Yeah. So what you want to do is go to righteousfelon.com. You're going to fill your basket with some good craft jerky, some beef sticks, some other good stuff. You're going to save 15% off your order with promo code BellyUp at checkout. And BellyUp and Righteous Felon has been one of our great premier sponsors at BellyUp Sports. But it's not only do you get the 15% off your order, but for every order of $50 or more, they're going to pay for your shipping. So what you can do is combine that promo code and get that free shipping. You can save yourself a little bit more money. So again,
Sweet deals.
Right? It's a sweet deal.
Yes.
RighteousFelon.com. Promo code BellyUp at checkout. 15% off your order plus free shipping of every order of $50 or more. And when Dustin, when you said I don't eat the dog treats myself, I thought of that scene from UHF.
Oh my God.
where Weird Al's feeding his friend the clown the dog treats. Doesn't know that they're dog treats.
Oh my God, I have a story for you guys.
I love that movie.
I was a wee lad at like the age of like 7 or 8 years old. We had a German Shepherd, and we would give her milk bone treats every now and then. They would look like little hot dogs or whatever. And me being 7 years old and stupid, I was like, why does this hot dog taste like crayons?
Oh no!
I was 7 years old. I've never forgotten that since.
Oh man, yeah,
Since
that stays with you. That stays with you.
It's a core memory. It's a weird memory I have. But it's
Got some more comments in the comments section. D's Ray Sunshine saying married, and my husband has a beard. Definitely into beards. She also says, Staniel, of course, had to comment saying, "Hell yeah, my fiance is terrified when I shave."
She's terrified.
And D saying, "Keep her happy, Staniel, looking great." And your Uncle Al, Dustin saying, "UHF, an underrated classic." Of course it is. It's a totally underrated.
Oh, there's another one. Ray of Sunshine also commented one more. This is great.
Scooby Snacks.
Oh, there you go. Pull it out the Scooby laugh. I like it.
Ruggy.
Zoinks.
Wow.
We have fun here.
We do have fun here. We do have fun.
We have
All
fun
right.
here.
we got to conclude the show. And before I could say what the hell, the Carolina Hurricanes scored a shorthanded goal. They're up 2-1 right now. So this
Oh,
Wait, but
series
what
is,
about 28? What about 28?
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that.
Man, the Carolina eyeballs, as my friend's daughter calls them. Shout out to you guys.
Jeez.
Hopefully we'll be watching a hockey game soon here.
But our favorite athletes to wear the number 28. I'm going to preface mine by saying it's going to be a where is that button? There it is. Homer alert for my number 28. And my number 28. This is going away. There it is. Okay, it's taking too long. So my number 28 is Curtis Martin. Of course, had to go with him.
Saw this one coming. Great
Yeah,
pick.
not an original New York Jet, but he followed Bill Parcells to the New York Jets. I think he signed in 2000. If I remember correctly, he signed in 2001. Remember correctly. I'll double check real quick. But originally drafted by the Patriots in 1995, and as soon as he was able, he jumped ship. 1998. I stand corrected. 1998. After first 3 years in New England, signed the New York Jets in 1998, and stayed with them for the entirety of his career. Considered probably the greatest running back in New York Jets history. Number one in a lot of categories. In New York Jets rushing touchdowns, rushing yards, rushing attempts. Had two great lines in front of him during his career. Retired in 2005. Led the league in rushing in 2004 with almost 1,700 yards. He was the AP was an All-Pro. He's in the Hall of Fame. 5-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, 1995 Offensive Rookie of the Year, and just a great guy on and off the field. I wish he were the director of player personnel with the Jets right now, because that's what they need. They need a director of player personnel as opposed to the Johnson brothers running the team.
Yup.
But Curtis Martin, an ambassador for the New York Jets, just an overall good guy. And one of the only jerseys I've ever really owned was a Curtis Martin jersey. And he averaged over 1,000 yards every year of his career, except in 2005, his last season in the NFL, where he only ran for 735 yards, and that year was disastrous.
Oh.
But 2004, they almost got they were 2 missed field goals away from going to the AFC Championship and meeting the Patriots in the championship. But man, Curtis Martin, what a career! What a career!
Oh, yeah.
He's my favorite number 28. And Dustin, I'm gonna hand it off to you. And we'll go to Mr. Smooth for his number 28 momentarily. But I had to lead off. But Dustin, your favorite number 28?
So this was another one, and I feel like I always say this. Certain numbers are easy. Certain numbers you got to think a little bit more about, And Ryan, you thought that both of us were going to have to use the Homer Alert bumper tonight. I am going running back, but it is not one Kurt Warner for the Seattle Seahawks. I did not see him because I did not see him play except for later on highlights, because I was alive, but I wasn't watching football during his Seahawk tenure. And then I think he left the Seahawks in 90, if memory serves.
89.
Oh, okay. 89 is when he left. Okay. I was not watching football back then, so I can't count Kurt Warner. Adrian Peterson, great running back, but I never had that affinity for him. He wears number 28, and he also did briefly sign with the Seahawks, but we don't talk about that. And then we don't talk
about Bruno.
Yeah, I thought about doing Marshall Faulk, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Love Marshall, but I can't put that much love on a Ram. I'm sorry. It still burns. So I started thinking, I'm going through Corey Dillon, another great 28. And then I'm going, you know who I want to shout out because I really don't think he ever got his due as a running back? Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I think he deserves it. That was going to be the crux of my argument. He was remarkably consistent for the Jacksonville Jaguars, even with some injuries, and also later in his career, ceding time to Maurice Jones Jr. They formed a unbelievable two-headed rushing attack. Fred Taylor, always consistent, always good, signed with the Patriots later in his career. That was not as memorable, but with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the late 90s, early 2000s, he was as good as anybody, but I don't think he ever got his flowers, so to speak. So I wanted to give them to him. He just went about his job. He did his job. And he's a Hall of Fame player. I think D says it perfectly. Fred Taylor is a Hall of Fame player because of what he meant to Jacksonville. Exactly. He was one of the cornerstones of those Jaguars teams for a lot of years. And I can't say enough good things. I think he was significantly underrated, if that makes sense. There were other flashier running backs that played during his era. But I always remember watching Fred Taylor run and respecting the way he carried himself. Same as Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin, I don't think I've never heard anybody come out and say they have a bad word to say about Curtis Martin. I feel like Fred Taylor, he just always struck me. I could be totally wrong, but he struck me as like a lunch pail type guy. He was going to show up, he was going to do his work, and that was it. That was it.
You know how good of a career you have to be that underappreciated? Yeah. Fred Taylor, I just looked it up on Pro Football Reference. You know how many times he went to the Pro Bowl?
Was it 9? Okay.
4.
Right. One time?
How is
one
he?
Time.
What?
Once.
Oh, man.
All those years in the backfield.
He has 11,000 rushing yards.
He's not going to get in the Hall of Fame because of the Pro Bowl votes, which is stupid.
Yeah.
It is stupid. But yeah, he means that much to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he has 11,000 rushing yards. 11,000 more, or 11,000 and more.
What is he, 5th all-time in rushing?
Is 11,000 rushing yards and 2,384 receiving yards.
He's 5th all-time in rushing yards, right?
Let's see.
Someone Google that.
Real-time research.
I think he's 5th or 7th all-time in rushing yards. Because Curtis Martin is 6th.
He is 17th overall.
He's 17th all-time?
17th all-time.
Wow.
No way. That can't be right.
Here's the order. Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, Walter Payton.
Frank Gore. Barry Sanders. Adrian Peterson. Curtis Martin. LaDainian Tomlinson. Jerome Bettis. Eric Dickerson. Remarkably, Eric Dickerson is 9th all-time.
Yeah,
that's amazing to me.
Tony Dorsett, Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk.
I knew Faulk was going to be ahead of him.
Edgerrin James, Marcus Allen.
He was stupid good for a long time.
Marcus Allen, Franco Harris, Thurman Thomas, Fred Taylor.
Okay.
Wow. And Derrick Henry is currently 19th. He's creeping up on Mr. Taylor.
Wow. He'll probably pass Fred.
At the end of next season, he could hypothetically be, let's see, Derrick Henry currently has 11,423 rushing yards. Hypothetically, he could probably wind up either 13th if he has an unbelievable season. He might wind up in the top 10.
Wow!
By the end of the next season, if he has a season like last year, and he's only 29 years old.
He's got another 5 years left, probably.
Yeah. So, Mr. Smooth.
So I have 3. I got 3 actually.
Okay, you're allowed. Okay.
So
Brent had 3 last on their last episode with number 27. I'll give
Dustin stole mine. It was Kurt Warner of formerly of Penn State University, and who is the 3rd leading rusher in the history of the Seahawks. By the way, I believe he's 3rd all time in rushing, behind Marshawn Lynch and Sean Alexander.
Yeah.
There's Chris Johnson.
Yep.
Thought about him.
Chris Johnson.
Yep.
Chris Johnson was one of my favorites when he was at the Titans.
CJ2K.
But I'm going to go with soon-to-be Hall of Famer Buster Posey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Buster
And
Posey with the
Buster
San Francisco
Posey.
Giants, who is, you can make a very good argument, he's one of the best, if not the greatest player in the history of that franchise.
Yes.
For
And
what
they-
he meant to the Giants.
In the modern era, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't know about all time, but, throw that debate up there for
I mean, Willie Mays.
Willie Mays. Yeah. I
Come
forgot about that part. I forgot about Willie Mays. I'm not going to lie.
It's
Forgot
tough
about
to
Willie.
remember everything,
It sucks. It sucks every now and then.
Sorry, I got a lot of knowledge in this giant.
He
knot.
does. He
I
does.
can't help it.
Dude, Jesus, I was a 10-pound baby. How do you think I feel?
So was I.
Hey!
10 pounds, 10 pounds, 5 ounces.
10 pounds, 11
My poor mother.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. Sorry about the C-section. Anyway.
Oh man.
Anywho.
But yeah, Buster Posey is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be first ballot. One of the greatest catchers in the modern era, especially the last 20 years or so. And everything that he meant to the Giants and those teams in the mid-2010s, yeah. It was hard, but I went Buster Posey.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, you can't argue. I mean, I think all our picks are great. I did think about Buster Posey, but I was like, I've been doing too much baseball lately because I have a lot of baseball players on the show, and I have to get to this comment because it looks like she's reading my mind. D says Sean Alexander is still one of my dad's favorite players. Well, tune into episode 37. You might just hear about Mr.
Jesus.
Alexander from me.
Speaking of baseball, do you guys want a throwback?
Sure.
Josh Hamilton.
Oh,
Yep.
Josh Hamilton. Yeah. Yeah, that's an inspirational story if I've ever heard one.
Josh Hamilton had a very good argument if he did not destroy his career,
Yeah.
could have been a top 5 player ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Yeah. He was that
Actually,
good.
early. Yeah.
And it's those type of stories I think that always fascinate me. I've always been fascinated by the journey of Rick Ankiel, and I will talk about the virtues of Rick Ankiel forever, every time I get the opportunity, because he had the pitching stuff to be an amazing left-handed pitcher. And when he got the case of the yips, we saw it in St. Louis. We saw it. I remember watching that on TV as it happened, and people didn't. But the journey that he did to come back, play another position, learn it, and become a serviceable outfielder. Although hats off to Rick Ankiel forever.
Amen to that.
D also says Fred Taylor is a Hall of Fame player because of what he meant to Jacksonville. She also says my dad actually took me to see Jacksonville, the Jaguars, who watched him play. He's a solid player and an ambassador to the game. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a city that deserves to have really good football because those fans are rowdy down there in Jacksonville.
Actually, where are they, Ryan?
Jackson. I think they said Jacksonville.
But are they?
Yes.
What county is it in?
I see. I know where you're going here. Hang on.
Sorry.
Ask that question again, Dustin.
I'm sorry. What county is Jacksonville in?
Duval.
I'm sorry. We had to get it in there. We had to get it in there.
Liam Cohen, one of the all-time cringiest. Why do you have snip? Why are you acting like Brutus the Barber Beefcake?
Hall of Famer Brutus the Barber Beefcake, by the way.
Oh, man.
Because I need to gouge my eyes out with these giant pairs of pliers after seeing that clip twice now.
and your ear balls too.
No,
And yes, Al, that was the.
that's what the staple gun's for.
Oh, sorry. That was the Liam Cohen Duval clip.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
All
We're
right,
gonna go back to church after that.
yes, you do. All right, before we get out of here, Mr. Smooth, tell the peeps where you can find you.
Apple and Spotify podcasts at Time to BS with Staniel Smooth. By the way, a logo change may be incoming soon. Also on YouTube at Time to BS with Staniel Smooth, you can find Time to BS, Staniel Smooth Show, Seahawk Sessions, which will be coming back soon, BS Sessions, Smoothly Baked, which is still my favorite title that I
That's
made
a great
of the,
one.
That's a great name. With myself and my fiance Megan, at Staniel Smooth and at Time to BS Podcast on Twitter and Instagram and Threads, TikTok at Staniel Smooth for clips of the show.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. I know you wanted to come on, but I know we had Dustin talking about Nico Harrison. I'm like, man, I forgot to figure this out. And Dustin's like, you know what? Let him on the show. Let's talk about both.
I am a delight, sir.
You are a delight. That's why we both host shows with you.
This is true.
Have you seen the T-shirt with the possum and it says, "First of all, I am a delight."
I haven't seen.
I want that T-shirt.
I want that shirt so bad now.
Oh my goodness! All right, so we gotta tell the people at home and on the internet where you can find us.
Subscribe, fools.
Subscribe. That's right. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also find Staniel's podcast, as well as many other podcasts and articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora. And don't forget to hit that notification button on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when we're live, we have show announcements, we have show clips. Find all that stuff on there. D's Ray Sunshine thanks for being here, y'all. Great show. Thank you for joining us, D. We appreciate you. And one of the new cred heads here in the chat. But in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports or talk nonsense. Presented by Belly Up Sports. For Staniel Smooth, for Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We may have a bonus show this week. We don't know. We'll find.
Roly poly.
Sir, I'm right here. We may have a bonus show this week talking about WrestleMania, wrapping it up. But we will have a show on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, the Saturday brunch edition. Keep spinning, sir. But in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. So thanks for
me right round, baby, right round.
God. All right, Flo Rida. We got to get out of here.
Hey,
thanks for joining us,
1983 calling.
That's
they
right.
want their song back.
That's right. That's right. 6-year-old Ryan is gymming right now. Anyway, for all of us here at No Credentials Required, we'll be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern for sure. Until then, have a great night, and we'll have a great week, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thumbs up.
Where's the scream?
Ah!
There we go.